All right, ladies and gentlemen. Here I am for another episode of the Josh Lee Vent Station. This one's going to be interesting. Basically, talking about the playoff standings. Now, if you notice, I don't really talk too much about the Cup Series in particular. Well, sort of. It really depends. I try not to, for a sense of uniqueness in that way. But every now and then, I feel like I have to just talk about it and how I feel about it. Because, there's one thing just to look at other YouTubers and whatnot, but I got to say my opinion on everything. So, let's talk about it. There's 5 races left to go before the playoffs start. I can't believe the year's gone by that quickly. I swear it's gone by fast. At least for me, that is. Could have sworn it felt like yesterday Daytona 500 was happening, but it is what it is. Time flies when you're older. At least it feels like it. At least for me, that is. And, well, let's talk about the playoff standings. So, talking about Denny Hamlin, I know, like, some people don't like Denny Hamlin. I know one guy in the Roblox League I ran in cannot stand Denny Hamlin. In fact, he said he was going to flip off Denny Hamlin at Dover. I have no clue if he ever went to. I don't know if he actually went to Dover to flip him off, but hey, it is what it is. I'm not asking. Denny Hamlin won. Dude's awesome. If he doesn't win the championship this time around, I don't know. I just don't know. I'd have to say, if he doesn't, I'd say he surpassed Mark Martin as one of the best drivers to not win the Cup Series championship. But I don't know. It is what it is. Kyle Larson in second. Now, I don't even think this is by points. I think it's by wins. From what I'm seeing, I don't know. SVG won like 3 races. Can you believe that? Dude was 35th in the standings at one point. Now he won 3 races. SVG, here's the thing. I gotta look at the playoff schedule because I haven't looked at it. But assuming it's just one road course this year with being the Roval, SVG is pretty much screwed. Unless he can find a way to shape up in the ovals during the playoffs, then he's pretty much done for. I don't know. Road courses tend to be an absolute guarantee for him, unless something like Chicago 2024 happened where he got wrecked. That was not really. I don't know. That was not really his fault at all. But anyway, Ross Chastain won a race. I forgot it was. I think it was Charlotte. Yeah, it was Charlotte. The Coke 600. Ryan Blaney, I think, won a couple or so. Austin Cindric won one. I don't even think it was a plate track. Dude just won. Alright, so props to Cindric, by the way. Finally getting something done. I know there's uncertainty with him because his dad was fired from Penske, amongst a whole lot of controversy that went down during Indy. Which, for anyone who doesn't follow IndyCar, for anyone who doesn't follow IndyCar at all, like, I think Tim Cindric is his name. Austin Cindric's dad is part of some sort of president role in Penske. And bear in mind that Penske also runs an IndyCar. I think he even owns the Indy 500 pretty much. Penske owns a lot, especially on the IndyCar side of things. And whatever was going on, it was enough to fire Tim Cindric. But I don't know. I'm not gonna go deep into that because I don't know all the details. I just know that his dad is fired, and played a key role into him being in Penske. Though Cindric was an absolute beast in the Xfinity series, so it paid off in the end. It wasn't it wasn't the worst nepotism, It was something that actually worked. Cup Series here or there, sort of messy. Tyler Reddick is yet to win a race. So for anyone who doesn't like Bubba Wallace, I just gotta mention. Actually, that's the main topic of this one. Bubba Wallace 16 points above Ryan Preece. This is interesting. Chris Buescher's 44 points above. I really hope to see Chris Buescher win another race. That's like not before the playoffs. Like this stupid playoff system, man. Like, I don't know. That's the thing about this system. You gotta play by their rules. So, oh boy, and that's kind of what led to Austin Dillon doing what he did at Richmond. I'm not trying to excuse what Austin Dillon did. I'm just saying certain things lead to drivers doing certain rules lead to drivers doing certain things, certain desperate things for that matter. And in a lot of cases, you need to save drivers from themselves. Drivers aren't always right. Tyler Reddick, 13th in the standings. Josh Berry won a race in Las Vegas. That was probably the coolest win out of all of them. And it's not really that. I don't know. Josh Berry is a good driver. For anyone who watched Xfinity Series, we know Josh Berry is a good driver. But the teams that he's been a part of in the Cup Series, I mean, even teams he subbed for, it's just hard for him. It's hard for Josh Berry to really do anything in the Cup Series because of the teams he's with. Like Wood Brothers Racing, it's been a long time since anyone's really gotten anything out of Wood Brothers. Even like Ryan Blaney, like when he won that, I think he won the Pocono race in 2017. But yeah, props to Josh Berry there, right? And he's also actually even after that win, he's shown some speed. It hasn't really led to much because he's had some of that Tyler Reddick kind of bad luck, where he would be up front and then just crash out. Unfortunately, that might cost him during the playoffs. But he's already better than Harrison Burton. That's not going to knock Harrison Burton much because Harrison Burton's a good Xfinity driver. It is what it is. That's a pattern. Bubba Wallace, here's the thing. My goodness, this poor guy. His lack of top 10s. Now, Chicago, I'm going to be honest, yeah, that was kind of on him. He was battling Bowman way too much. I wouldn't, like, if I was him, I would not have tried to go for that challenge. But then again, considering a lawsuit and everything, maybe he needs the $1 million. I don't know. I don't know if he's thinking of it from that perspective, but honestly, if we're talking about the overall championship, he should have just tried to keep it cool a bit, but it is what it is. Him and Bowman, people feel a certain way about Bowman as well, so there's that. So I don't know. I'm still on Team Bubba Wallace. I hope he makes the playoffs this time because, good Lord, some of these only one YouTube channel in particular. I don't want to say his name, but my goodness, the videos he makes on Bubba Wallace, he keeps bringing up 2020. It gets really annoying because everyone, honestly, it's like at this point, everyone's over 2020 for the most part. Okay, like if I'm gonna use Kyle Larson example, Kyle Larson saying what he said in 2020. I'm over it. Actually, I barely had much of a problem. I was kind of confused more than anything, and just baffled. And at the end of the day, he was suspended and fired for it. So, like, I don't know. Larson paid the price. And he was able to come back. That's just it, is how it is. Bo Wallace, I mean, look, the whole thing at Talladega, whatever that was, you know what happened. And even if you were to say he's guilty, it's like, can you just get over it? Like, for some of the guys out there, just blame him for that. Especially 2022, yeah, the right rear hooking didn't help him at all. Didn't help him, but even before that, it's like, dude won Kansas. Fairly dominating fashion. Like, he's shown speed. Even though he's kind of been here or there this year, which is why he has the last playoff spot right now. And it was, like I said, before Dover, the last few races were not doing him any favors. Even though he showed speed in those races, it didn't result in anything. And that's the key part here, result. And I know people like to say, oh, he hasn't been dominating this and that. I don't know. When it comes to NASCAR, there's a whole lot of arguments you can make with a lot of different drivers and how they run and certain teams they race for. Which is why, like, I feel like that's why there's a lot for me to say, too. Because there's so many ways to put it when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Alex Bowman, speaking of Alex Bowman, 14th, 63 points above. He's not locked in now. Reddick is pretty much locked in as long as he doesn't, like... Reddick's pretty much locked in as long as he doesn't get DQ'd a bunch or just have bad finishes. Because I don't think he's locked... From what I've seen, I don't think they actually said he's locked in. Though I think just one decent finish in whatever the next race is, I think is Indy. I could be wrong. They haven't checked the schedule properly. But, like, assuming if Reddick gets a good finish in the upcoming race, I think that's going to be a lock-in, pretty much. Unless he gets DQ'd a bunch for whatever reason. Buescher and Bowman still got to push forward. Bubba Wallace, he's really on the hot seat because Ryan Preece has been showing speed in that Roush car. And he's pretty much had to, you know. Keselowski's had a rough year, but it's hard to explain what happened there. Really hard to explain what happened there. It's really big downswing. I don't know if it's age or what. It's sad to see because I've liked Keselowski for a while. Kyle Busch is depressing. I gotta make another Stop Motion Bad Seasons video. There's someone put a comment and I guess they deleted it straight after for whatever reason. I gotta make another Stop Motion Bad Seasons video. Michael McDowell 20th, which honestly, actually in Aspire cars, by the way. So honestly, that's a really big step up. I mean, Michael McDowell is pretty much performing exactly where he has been for the past few years, even with front row. But still, props to him. It's pretty cool to see that Spire Motorsports is now running 20th or so, as opposed to being in the back constantly, just like Rick Ware. Which, by the way, Rick Ware hasn't changed, because Cody Ware is pretty much dead last amongst 36 full-time competitors. Riley Herbst second to last at 35th. By the way, he's the teammate to Tyler Reddick, which, my goodness, I like Riley Herbst in a somewhat ironic way, because I don't know, you'd even notice if you remember watching the Acna series. I don't know, I like talking about Riley Herbst, or Terrible Herbst as I called him. But yeah, it's sad to see. It sucks to see what happened. It is what it is. Custer's 34th, but that's kind of expected, because remember, or for anyone who's shocked about Custer being this bad, it's sort of a mix of Custer having a rough time in the Cup Series and Haas, because for anyone who doesn't know about Haas pre the Tony Stewart merger or whatever, or when Tony Stewart partially owned the Haas team or whatever, Haas had been in NASCAR for years before Tony Stewart sort of like half owned the team. And the thing is, before Tony half owned the team, they were rubbish, essentially. They weren't really that good of a team. I think it was the Zero car, the Net Zero car, type NASCAR Net Zero. You'll probably see what I'm talking about. That's the Haas car. Haas has ran in the Xfinity Series, or at the time Busch Series, Cup Series for a bit. Or no, Cup Series quite a bit. I think the main highlights were in the Xfinity Series or Busch Series. They had the Best Buy 66 car, I think. Like, they've had a couple cars in the Cup Series, just never amounted to anything until Tony Stewart joined along with Ryan Newman. Though even though Ryan Newman's best days, I think, were Penske. Noah Gragson, 33rd. That's sad to see as a Gragson fan, especially since he won the fan vote for the All-Star race, so people clearly like the guy no matter what happens to him, because he's 33rd in the standings. Todd Gilliland, 32nd. Like, one thing is, looking at these standings, someone has to be back there. Someone has to be below back there in the standings, because I think all these guys are really good. That's the thing. As I look at these standings, pretty much everyone except for Custer, Herbst, and Ware are solid drivers. Noah Gragson was en route to top 10 at Dover until that crash happened in the end with Christopher Bell. Todd Gilliland, he's taking a step back, but it is what it is. At this point, it's just front row midness. Yeah, that's a word. Justin Haley, at this point, I'm a bit disappointed, because Justin Haley started to, Justin Haley was a rookie in 2022 with Colleague. He started to show some speed in 2023. Heck, SVG, if you remember when SVG won his Cup Series debut, he beat Justin Haley to do that. Because Justin Haley was actually in the lead for those final 30 or so laps. Like, he was blitzing at Chicago until SVG won. Ty Dillon showed some speed. By the way, Ty Dillon's 30th, but dude's just in the finals for the in-season challenge. That just tells you how ridiculous that tournament thing is. It's just weird that way. But it is what it is. There's no huge prize out of it, championship-wise, so I'm not complaining. Austin Dillon, 28th. Even with Kyle Busch struggling, Kyle Busch has shown potential. I'm sorry. Like, come on. Austin Dillon, I think I remember I made a short where I said, like, I think it was at the start of 2024 season. I'm like 10 years and I feel old. I'm 23, by the way. But I felt old because it's one of those things where you look back at something, or when someone made their first start in the Cup Series, and you just feel so old now because it's been like 10 years or so. That's what it feels like for me, even though I'm only 23. I feel old watching Austin Dillon just still around doing nothing. So looking at all these standings, Stenhouse 24th, 22nd and 23rd is the Legacy Motor Cars. So, yeah, I meant to talk about the playoff bubble, but I talked about the whole standings coming into Indy, so that's interesting. So it is a longer event station than usual. I say that a lot recently, or pretty much for every episode. But it is what it is. It's me, basically just talking about stuff, so there's that. So anyway, Yeah, so I guess that's about it for this one because yeah, everyone went on a lot. That was a big ramble. But this was a fun, nice little thing to talk about. So yeah, other than that, that is about it.